Have you ever wondered what do astronauts see when they go to space? Say for example, let's think about how do astronauts see the earth from space? That was an interesting thing that we were thinking about and I was kind of searching on it. So, when the astronauts first saw the Earth from far in the Apollo 8 mission in 1968, the US second manned mission to the moon, they described a cognitive shift in awareness after seeing our planet hanging in the void. Do you understand? Just imagine what is meant by hanging in the void, like there is nothing but your planet is simply hanging in a void space. This state of mental clarity called the overview effect occurs when you are flung so far away from the earth that you become totally overwhelmed and awed by the fragility and unity of life on our blue globe. It's something like an uncanny sense of understanding the big picture and of the feeling connected towards how the earth actually looks like. So, here I'm throwing you the picture of the Pacific Ocean that is actually seen from the space. It's so wonderful, isn't it, for the human eyes when you're actually seeing a ocean from the space? Wow, how beautiful does it look, no? So, according to few astronauts and cosmonauts who have traveled to space, their vision about human life, the space, and the earth, in fact, have totally changed. Their life has become calm, more perseverance that they have got. Some of the astronauts who have stayed longer than 100 days are likely quoting here that you have got this planet beneath you, and lot of what you see, especially during the day, does not necessarily point to a human presence. It is all about a geologic time scale. It is something like a flimsy presence. It's like a film for the home about the whole human family. The presence of human, the presence of nature, the biological change, the oceans, the more of the nature, and the human beings just appear like any other species to them. This is what the human beings on earth have to considerably think upon. Bound by gravity and biology, they can't easily step outside the space, right? They have to stay inside the spaceship. Fewer, just 24, have watched the earth shrink in the distance, growing smaller and smaller and smaller until it was no larger than the face of the wristwatch. So you understand the bigger earth is just seems to be a very small tiny object than that of a wristwatch for the people who are traveling into space. I mean, for the astronauts. So here is a lot of understanding, and wow, that's a great feeling when I read about their perspective about the earth in space, right? Interesting, isn't it? So basically, many of the students who are very much interested in the space stations, to know about astronauts, cosmonauts, science, all about the space, they definitely know one thing. There is something called International Space Station. So when the astronauts and cosmonauts on the space, what do they do there? This is something which is a very basic thought anyone can think upon. Do they always go and do a shuttling around the earth or the moon? Do they go to the stars? What do they do actually? In fact, there is a lot of work to operate, and there are many science experiments on board for the crew at the International Space Station. The crew also has to make sure that the station is in top shape, so they clean, check the equipments, maintain and repair or replace the broken equipment, and they also have to stay fit every day because over the space their bones and muscles, it may become strong and rigid that sometimes the flexibility of the muscles will be gone. So they have to keep themselves fit. They have to exercise at least for 2 hours a day. Sometimes actually the space station is much spacious. However, they have to walk out of the spaceship, and which is actually a very tough and dangerous job. But trust me, according to the views and the speeches given by the astronauts, they feel that the view of the space from the space station outside the spaceship, it's terrific. So how fast and how high do they go in the space? The space station actually travels through the space, say for example, around 70,000 or 18,000 miles per hour at an altitude of about 220 miles. They orbit around the Earth once in every 90 minutes. Some of the astrophysics students who are very much interested about this space life and also about what's happening in the space, they can even have a proper telescope to view the spaceship if that is crossing through the moon. There are some experiences, if you just Google and see, there are some experiences about various astrophysics students who could have seen a black dot just running like that. That's actually a spaceship that would have traveled, or the shuttle that would have traveled. And their missions are also longer. Say usually their expeditions are about 6 months. Normally there are 3 to 6 crew members on board at all the times. Professional astronauts crews come from various countries, and some there is one astronaut, he's a Russian astronaut. I mean, actually, he's a cosmonaut who has spent 437 days in space during one single mission. That's the interesting facts about the astronaut and cosmonauts and what they do on the International Space Station, actually. I think you will be finding this video more useful and interesting. We will see a lot more like this in the coming videos. Thank you for watching.